Now after Jinwoo finally defeats the architect, it starts talking about some prophecy, saying when the pillars of fire are built to uphold the heavens, inevitable death shall find you. He agrees, saying of course, before the architect dies. Then it cuts to everybody coming outside the dungeon, and people are in shock because the best hunters they got look like they just got their ass whooped. But not only that, several of them died as well. Now Jinwoo comes out behind them, but he's still just thinking about the architect and how he didn't really answer any of his questions. He says, bro, we just lost like 20 of our best hunters. Were you really about to do that dungeon by yourself? He says, yeah, but he just feels bad that he didn't give everybody proper warning, so he feels like all these people that died, it's his fault. But they're kind of having an apology contest because he's the one who called for them to help. Well, either way, this shit is just tragic. But bro, how did you know this was a double dungeon? He just says it called out to me that he received a message. So he's like, can you show me? But he's like, nah, it's literally in my head. It sounds crazy, but there's no way he's joking with all this serious shit going on. Then Sha Hae-in checks on him to see if he's alright. He says, of course I am. I'm just a little bit, Then he just passes out in front of everybody. The shit caught up to him. Then it cuts to a bunch of mana crystals brought in by the literal truckload. It's for the barrier hunter so he can block off that big ass gate in Japan. After he sets the barrier up, the energy from the crystals will maintain it. But there is something weird going on. He can sense that somebody's nearby, but the city is evacuated. He yells for them to show themselves, but nobody says anything. That's when we see somebody actually is there. And it's Jinwoo's dad, saying it's finally about to begin. He looks at the gate as he says everything is going according to plan. Now again, the whole city is blocked off and evacuated, and the military brought in tanks and soldiers for defense. The hunters are like, bro, that shit is useless. Why are they even here? Pretty much amount to nothing more than meat shields against these monsters. Hey, it just shows how helpless humans are in the face of pure destruction. Now he's completely confident he's gonna block off this gate. This nigga over here drinking on the job. Bro's like, you can't do that, but he says, come on, man, I'm just trying to calm my nerves. And they have 15 S ranks on standby as backup. He's like, damn, America didn't send any to help? That's a small ass group. Hey, I guess there is just a shortage of good hunters. Then as he's saying this, the dungeon finally breaks, and it cuts to Jinwoo waking up in a hospital. Jin-ho comes back at the exact same time. He starts crying, talking about, we thought you were dead. Bro fell asleep for 3 whole days. He tries to lock in like, hold up, I know I missed some shit. And all that's on his mind is the war the architect's shown him. But he's like, hold up, what happened with the dungeon in Japan? He's like, well, as it shows what happened on the day of the break. It wasn't regular monsters, it was a bunch of fucking giants. They're not even the boss, they're just the starters. He's still confident he got this, telling the giants to bring it on. As he pulls the energy from the crystal, uses it to completely surround the gate, forming this barrier to prevent them from attacking the city. One of them swings and tries to break it, but it holds up. Come on now, that's too easy. But then something grabs the giant from behind and just throws it to the side. It's just a significantly bigger fucking giant. There he is, and there's the giant. It's clear he did not expect all that. The giant just cuts right through it like butter. He tells Jinwoo the raid was a failure. But then it cuts over to Jin-ho's dad, who's still battling the eternal slumber. He just fell asleep for a whole day straight at his desk. His assistant tells him that someone has been cured from this disease. He sees that it's Sung Jinwoo's mom and immediately starts thinking that, he probably has the cure. Now this egregiously sized giant came out of the gate, cut directly through the S-rank barrier, then picked up Yuri, the barrier man, and just drops him in his mouth. That is actually the saddest way to go out. Now the tanks are trying to shoot at it, but again, the regular weapons just don't do shit. They got chopper gunners and everything, but like, come on, yo. Even the hunters are just like, what are y'all doing? That shit is not helping at all. So 2 of the Japanese S-ranks go in to help, see if they can immobilize it by taking out its eyes, but it almost kills both of them with 1 counter, but they're able to dodge it. The giant's not just big, they're fast as shit. And Jinwoo's just watching it all unfold on TV. Like if this continues, all of Asia could be put in danger. So he's really about to get up, but the second he does, someone says don't go. And it's his little sister, she just doesn't want him to leave. And he understands because she really just went through hell. So he's like, alright, I won't. I already been working a lot lately anyway. I need to just rest anyway, so don't worry. So now he's just outside on a park sitting on a bench, and he calls for Biru. Yes, your highness, no. King. He like, bro, you been watching TV when I told you to watch over my sister? I can tell you no, but tell me, how is she? She doesn't do much except sleep, my king. Because bro, she literally just watched a bunch of her classmates die in school. And he doesn't want to leave her side, but at the same time, the world kind of needs him. So he's not really sure what to do as this car pulls up on it. It's someone that wants to speak with him. And it cuts to him inside a building saying, why did you come find me? As it shows that it's Jin-ho's dad formally introducing himself. And he just slides him a check that does not have an amount on it. I don't believe that everything can be bought with money, especially the services of an S-rank hunter, but this is simply an expression of my sincerity. Now, Jinwoo still doesn't know why he brought him here, so what do you want to buy off me? He says, well, I have the same illness as your mother. So he asked, does anybody else know that she recovered from it? But it's just him, the secretaries, and the doctors. So like 5 people. Yeah, that's right. We searched for hours and weeks and could only find one person that recovered from it. And I don't think it's a coincidence that that one person is your mother. What I want from you is the truth. And if you help me, I won't forget your kindness. And Jinwoo's just looking at him like, damn. He really has to choose between the well-being of this stranger, essentially, to the well-being of his family. But then it cuts back to the gate, and I don't know why news reporters are flying around in a helicopter. That's dumb as fuck. They over here getting a front row seat to Armageddon. There's no way they paying y'all enough. They talking about their safe because they're at a height they can't reach. All they gotta do is throw a fucking car. They're saying that the majority of giants have been wandering off, while the biggest one has just been sitting in front of the gate for whatever reason. But the reporter is just looking like, man, this shit doesn't look real. Even though it breathes and moves, its movements are like it's been programmed. He says it's more like a machine. A machine or not, out of the 31 giants, they've only been able to take out 2 of them. And it's been 2 whole days since the break. And even if they win, the whole city might be a pile of dust by then. But then Jinwoo announces that he's going to Japan to help out. And at first he's just telling him how dangerous it is, like this shit is on a whole nother scale. But bro, if I succeed, our guild's name will be famous all across the world. But he's still taking note that he's worried because usually he's always confident in him. And he just says, alright, fuck it, I'm coming with you. You know what the Red Gate incident, the Jeju raid, and the Double Dungeon all have in common? I was nowhere to be found in any of the fucking articles. This shit is fucking embarrassing, bro. All I have to brag about is that I'm around you every day. So please, bro, take me with you. He's like, yo, you just told me how dangerous it was. But bro, I trust you. So if you're safe, then I'll be safe too. And he couldn't even hate on that one. But then he says he was joking and that he's not really going to Japan as he walks out and tells him that he can head home for the day. But he's like, bro, come on. Do I look stupid? He's just heading home while he thinks about the architect and how strong he could potentially become. I like how it shows him going home and talking with his mom, but the whole time in his head he's thinking about other shit. The choice he's faced with Jin-ho's dad. Then it shows that he slid back the check and rejected the offer, saying there's nothing he could do for it. He's like, wait, then how'd your mom recover? He says, man, if I knew and wanted to make money through it, why would I be keeping quiet about it? And he just says, right, as he walks out. Then he gets in the elevator like, is still Jin-ho's dad, but I don't really know him, like he could have some ulterior motive. There's a limited amount of these, so I can't just use them carelessly. And even with how sweet of a deal it was, like he gave him an empty check to just put a number on. Just give me a number and I'll pay. He still just turned it down. Damn. So Jinwoo tells his mom he's going to Japan to help out with that dungeon break, because as long as he continues to fight, he'll continue to grow stronger. And she basically says, boy, you just like your damn daddy running to help out. Well, I'll help you pack your bags after you're done eating. But Jin-ah overhears this and just goes under the covers. He's like, bro, are you asleep? And she says, yeah. But like, nigga, you not fucking sleep. We need to talk for a second, so where do I begin? You see, I actually almost died recently. I mean, hold up. That's not what I meant. Like, I'm always in danger of dying. Like, it really felt like it might have been my time or something. But I still made it back alive, and every time I make it home, I'm thankful for it. So I'll come back alive this time too. And he pats her head and thanks her for not stopping him from leaving this time, and she starts to cry. And I really love this because he's acknowledging it would be hard to leave if she did that shit again, but she was mature enough not to. Of course, he says, don't worry, I'll be back. And even when I'm far away, I'll protect you, as he summons his soldiers. Then it cuts to the chairman speaking at a press conference, making it an official report that Jinwoo's going out to help Japan. He gives a couple of words to the world, they shake hands, the cameras flick them up, and it cuts to Jinwoo at the airport about to take off. He notices Jin-ho carrying this big ass backpack, a dead serious look on his face. He's like, alright, fine, nigga, come on, let's do this damn thing. Look at my boys, they cold. The Ajin Guild is officially certified. Man's got a name tag and everything. I'm not gonna lie, having D rank on it looks terrible though. Then it cuts back over to the gate in Japan. The military is saying they don't have enough room to transport all the hospital's patients. The doctors don't want to leave them behind, so it's just more people that are gonna die. But this soldier's like, alright, fuck it, I'm gonna stay with y'all. I can't just run away and leave civilians behind. The first thing we should do is take cover. But as soon as he says this, a couple giants come peeking around the buildings. They open fire, but again, it's bullets, bro. They just block it with their hand and then go to crush them. So the soldier jumps in the way, but hey, it's hero time. Nick gets sent flying back with a big ass shadow javelin, and we see that it's Jima making his debut with the tridents. Jinwoo tells the soldier this shit is way too dangerous. Y'all gotta get out of here. Jin-ho had his moment protecting them from falling rocks. He says we'll stand by and get everybody evacuated. Alright, bet, it's time to work. But Jima the one doing all the damn work. It's literally fucking huge. Just ragdolling the giants and tearing up the city at the same time. Jinwoo's running along its back, one hand in the pocket for Max Aura, and he just slashes its head in half. And it cuts over to Maryland. Hey, that's where I live. A bunch of American hunters are betting on whether or not Jinwoo will survive. They all feel like they're stronger than him because Madame Selner didn't upgrade his abilities. She did theirs, so they feel like they're on another level. Well, shit, I bet my yacht he dies in the first day. I bet my house he dies in 2 days. Then Thomas interrupts like, are you sure about that? I bet the whole scavenger guild that he'll survive. Shouldn't y'all be focused on the gate over here that's about to have a dungeon break? How many of us are gonna survive? They're just like, damn bro, you killing the fucking vibes. He says it might have been more fun playing in Japan than the USA. Well, I'm sure things will get excited tomorrow as it shows the gate that's about to break. Back in Korea, the cameramen are still broadcasting. Jinwoo is just overwhelming the giants with ants, and the ants are actually eating them. But then it shows one of them trying to grab this girl. Come on now, what are you doing? Have you lost your mind? Igris just cuts off his arm. Then Iron bonks him on top of the head, pretty much crushing him down into the ground. And what? Igris just looking at this nigga like, bruh. He's smiling back at him like, yeah, I'm like that. He just sighs and makes sure the girl is okay. But a soldier goes to thank Jinwoo. He tells him, hey bro, you did a good job. You're a brave soldier. Now Jin-ho, get him the fuck out of here, because it's time for me to get serious. Arise. After Jinwoo takes out a couple of the giants, you know what time it is. Arise. Now he's got a whole gang of 6 fucking giants. He just named them numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. He's gonna use them to travel and get around. His guys are still going at it, and so far it's been easy. There's no way for the giants to win with the way his troops keep regenerating. But the problem is this dungeon break in Japan is causing a bunch of other dungeons to open up as well. At this point, they're on the 7th day of the dungeon break, and the whole city is just in ruins. They link up with Hanakawa and she shares some intel that 3 S ranks have already died, so a lot of A ranks have died too. The day 1 of the break, there were 31 giants. Next to Jinwoo, they've pretty much all been taken care of. Well, really, there's only one left, the biggest one that's just been sitting in front of the gate all 7 days. And Jinwoo gets a familiar feeling just looking at the landscape. It reminds him of the demon's castle, so he starts thinking that maybe the architect was trying to tell him something. Maybe share with him a hint of the future. Either way, I came here to get stronger. So he says, let's begin. But she's like, wait, the rest of the hunters aren't here. But he says, nah, everybody's here. As it cuts to this Japanese hunter who's annoyed as shit. They were really fighting for their lives, but Jinwoo just came through and no-diff the monsters without even really killing them, so now it's like they're picking up after him. Fuck all that, it's time to mobilize the troop. The whole gang is gathering from the shadows. Igris shit flowing in the wind, and so is Tanks. Tusk chain out here glistening in the sunlight. Of course, they're all bowing before the king. We got giant bears, we got sea monsters. We got damn near everything you could think of. And they all bend the knee to Sun Jinwoo. But you know the party ain't complete until Biru pulls up. And now the whole gang's here. He says, good work, everybody. Of course, thank you, my king. Now it's time for him to call on the giant. Bro, this shit is actually cheating. And gotta turn your phone to the side, cause he got 6 fucking giants just rolling with him. It says, my soldiers, charge. They all just start running at the big giant. But it still just seems to be chilling there, not concerned about the whole army running towards him. At first he's chilling, and then he locks in and tears a whole chunk out of the troops in an instant. Even had to strike a pose cause that shit was tough. Damn, he took out 100 with one swing. It's big as fuck, and just the energy it's emanating makes me want to run away. This monster agitated me. How could such a being exist? As it shows Tusk charging up. There's 2 ways to get rid of an agitation. You could run away from the cause and forget it, or you could get rid of it completely, as it's about to get blasted with its fireball. At the same time, one of his own giants is coming from behind. He just catches the fireball, I guess, and hacks his own mans in half. Then it sees a bunch of the ants and stomps on him. Biru like, hold the fuck up. I know you ain't step on my niggas. And Wu gotta hold him back like, not yet, dog. This is all a part of my calculations. The way he fights now is just completely different. Strategically using up his mana to gradually wear down the giant with his soldiers. It's covering itself in mana like an armor, so none of their attacks are really working. There was one time some shit got through with the fire blast. So he calls on Kaizo. I just had to zoom out for this one because it's cold. Like Biru and Igris and Jinwoo all on Kaizo like, yeah, that shit's hard. Biru goes right for the eye. The giant fast as shit and just weaves to the right. Igris like charges lightning in his blade like Kaido and comes through with his own slash, and it dodges to the left, but he can still drag the blast. So this nigga gotta hit the matrix, and this was the opening he was waiting for. Swings right back at him fast as shit, and it looks like he catches him. So it actually starts to smile, but then it's like, oh shit. Igris is running along the blade, charging up his own sword. I need to hear what sound this shit is gonna make. It better be hard. He uses his other hand to block the lightning. Silly giant. This was all a part of the plan. It was all a bait. It was all a diversion. And he takes its eye out on the first flyby. But we keep it on the pressure because Biru follows up. Jinwoo summons more blades and uses his ruler's authority to control them. So now they just tearing his face up, doing him crazy. Hanakawa's just watching like this ain't no battle between a hunter and a monster. Both of these niggas are some fucking monsters. Jinwoo is still just dancing on this man's face. He gets all his blades together and uses mutilate directly on his eyeball. Yeah, that shit probably felt crazy. While he's in his eye, he screams for Biru, who says, "As you command," dives into the giant's head. Now he just screaming like hell. They tearing him up from inside and out. He used mutilate like 3-4 times. Of course, this is too much for anybody to survive, but a big dog slumped over. Jinwoo wins.